Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Learn English Naturally, where learning English is easy and fun. I am Emma.
And I am Ethan. Hello, everyone. So happy to be back with you again today.
Ethan, can I ask you something?
Of course. Ask me anything, Emma.
What is the capital of Australia?
I don't know.
Okay. And what do you think about the weather on Mars?
I don't know.
And what did I eat for breakfast this morning?
Emma, I definitely don't know that.
Okay. So, Ethan, you said I don't know 3 times just now.
Yes, I did.
And you know what? I don't know is a very common answer. We say it every single day.
Yes, in English and in every language.
But today, we are going to change that. Today, our topic is stop saying I don't know and say this instead.
Oh, wow. So there are better things to say than I don't know?
So many better things. And today, we will learn them all.
I love this topic. This is so practical.
It really is. And everyone listening, this episode will make you sound so much more natural in English.
Yes, native speakers almost never just say, I don't know, and stop there.
They add more. They keep the conversation going.
And that is exactly what we want to do, too.
But before we start, everyone please subscribe to Learn English Naturally.
Yes, and click the like button and share this episode with your friends who are learning English.
Okay, are you ready, Ethan?
I am so ready. Let us go.
Okay, Ethan, let us start by understanding something first.
Okay, what is that?
Why do we say I don't know so much in the first place?
Good question. I think because it is the first thing that comes to our mind.
Yes, exactly. It's the easiest and fastest answer.
And when we are speaking English, we already feel nervous, so we grab the quickest answer we can find.
Yes, and for English learners, I don't know feels safe. It's short, it's simple, it stops the conversation quickly.
But stopping the conversation is not always good.
Not good at all, because conversations are how we practice English.
Oh, so when I say I don't know and stop, I'm also stopping my own practice.
Exactly. You're closing the door on a conversation that could help you grow.
Wow, I never thought of it that way.
And there's another reason why I don't know can sound weak sometimes.
Why?
Because it gives no information, it gives no effort, it shows no thinking.
So the listener feels like maybe the speaker does not care.
Sometimes yes, even if that's not true at all.
So we might accidentally seem rude or uninterested.
Not always, but sometimes, and we can easily fix this.
Yes, tell me how. What do we say instead?
Okay, we have 8 great alternatives today. 8 things to say instead of I don't know.
8? Okay, I'm writing this down. Let us start.
Okay, our first alternative, instead of I don't know, say this. That's a good question. Let me think about that.
That is a good question. Let me think about that.
This phrase does 2 beautiful things. First, it tells the other person that their question is good and interesting.
So they feel good about asking.
And second, it tells them you're thinking, you're making an effort.
So the conversation doesn't die, it just pauses for a moment.
Exactly, a comfortable pause, not an awkward silence.
For example, what do you think about learning English online? That is a good question. Let me think about that.
Perfect. See how natural that sounds?
Yes, it sounds so much better than just, I don't know.
Now our second alternative. Instead of I don't know, say this. I'm not sure, but I think maybe.
I'm not sure, but I think maybe.
This phrase is very honest. You're saying you're not 100% sure.
But you're still trying to answer.
Yes, and that's so much better than giving up with I don't know.
For example, what is the population of Japan? I'm not sure, but I think maybe around 100 million people.
Beautiful. Even if the answer isn't perfect, you tried.
And trying is what keeps the conversation alive.
And in real life, people appreciate the effort much more than a perfect answer.
That is such a good point, Emma.
Okay, our third alternative. And I love this one because it is very natural.
Tell me, what is it?
That is a tricky one. Give me a second.
That is a tricky one. Give me a second.
Tricky means not easy, a little difficult.
So I am telling the person the question is not simple.
Yes, and give me a second means I need a little time to think.
So I'm not running away from the question, I'm just asking for a moment.
Exactly, and native speakers say this all the time.
For example, what would you do if you won the lottery? That is a tricky one. Give me a second.
Yes, that is definitely a tricky question.
Right? I need more than a second for that one.
We all do. Okay, our fourth alternative. This one is great when you really have no idea.
Okay, what is it?
Honestly, I have no idea, but let me guess.
Honestly, I have no idea, but let me guess.
This is very honest and also very fun.
Fun? How?
Because you're saying I do not know for sure, but I will still try.
So you are being honest and brave at the same time.
And the words let me guess make it feel like a game.
For example, what year was the Eiffel Tower built? Honestly, I have no idea, but let me guess. Maybe around 1890?
Perfect. You tried, you guessed, the conversation continued.
And it felt natural and fun.
That is exactly the goal. Natural and fun.
I'm loving these alternatives, Emma.
Okay, our fifth alternative, and this one shows real curiosity.
Tell me.
I'm not sure. That's actually a really interesting question. I would love to find out.
I'm not sure. That's actually a really interesting question. I would love to find out.
This phrase shows the other person that their question made you curious.
So they feel like they asked something valuable.
Yes, and I would love to find out shows enthusiasm and interest.
So instead of closing the conversation, I'm actually opening it more.
Exactly. You might say, I would love to find out. Shall we look it up together?
Oh, now we're doing something together. The conversation becomes an activity.
Yes, and this is how real friendships are built, through shared curiosity.
For example, do you know why cats purr? I'm not sure. That's actually a really interesting question. I would love to find out.
Beautiful, so natural, so warm.
I love that one.
Okay, our sixth alternative, and this one is perfect for opinions and ideas.
Tell me.
I have never really thought about that before, but maybe.
I have never really thought about that before, but maybe.
This phrase is honest. It tells the person this topic is new for you.
But the word but is very powerful here.
Yes, but means even though I haven't thought about it, I will still try.
So I'm not giving up, I'm just starting fresh.
For example, what do you think about living on another planet? I have never really thought about that before, but maybe it would be very lonely without family.
Wow, Emma, that was a really thoughtful answer.
Thank you. See how the phrase helped me give a real answer?
Yes, even though you never thought about it before, you still had something interesting to say.
Because once you start talking, ideas come naturally.
Yes, we just need that little push to start.
Okay, we have two more alternatives. Our seventh one, and this one is very clever.
Oh, tell me. I like clever things.
I'm not totally sure about that. What do you think?
I'm not totally sure about that. What do you think?
This phrase does something very smart.
What does it do?
You admit you're not sure, and then you redirect the question back to the other person.
Oh, so now they answer, and I get more time to think.
Exactly. And you also show that you value their opinion.
So it's not rude, it's actually very polite and engaging.
Yes, native speakers do this all the time in conversations.
For example, do you think social media is good or bad? I'm not totally sure about that. What do you think?
Perfect. And now the other person speaks, the conversation continues, and you have time to collect your thoughts.
This is actually a very useful life skill, not just for English.
Yes, very true, Ethan. Okay, our eighth and final alternative, and this one is very honest and direct.
Let's hear it.
That's not something I know much about, but I would be interested to learn more.
That's not something I know much about, but I would be interested to learn more.
This phrase is powerful because it shows two things at once.
What two things?
Humility and curiosity. Humility means you're honest that you do not know much.
And curiosity means you want to learn.
And people love talking to curious people. It makes them feel valued.
For example, do you know much about classical music? That is something I don't know much about, but I would be interested to learn more.
Beautiful. And now the other person becomes the teacher, and you become the learner.
And everyone loves to share what they know.
Exactly. So you just gave them a wonderful gift, the chance to share their knowledge.
And in return, you learn something new. Everybody wins.
Okay, everyone, now we are going to practice all 8 alternatives together.
Yes, I'm going to ask Emma some questions, and Emma, you cannot say, I don't know.
I will try my best.
Okay, first question. Emma, what is the deepest ocean in the world?
That is a good question. Let me think about that. I'm not sure, but I think maybe it's the Pacific Ocean.
Very good. You used 2 alternatives at once.
Yes, I'm not sure, but I think maybe. And that's a good question. Let me think.
Okay, second question. What do you think about working from home forever?
I have never really thought about that before, but maybe it would feel lonely after a while. I think I would miss seeing people every day.
Emma, that was so natural and thoughtful.
Thank you. See how the phrase unlocked a real answer?
Okay, third question. Do you know why we dream when we sleep?
Honestly, I have no idea, but let me guess. Maybe our brain is organizing all the information from the day.
That is actually a very smart guess, Emma.
Thank you. I surprised myself.
Okay, last question. What do you think about life in 50 years?
That's a tricky one. Give me a second. I think life will be very different. Technology will change everything. But I'm not totally sure about that. What do you think, Ethan?
You redirected it back to me. Very clever, Emma.
Alternative number 7, it works perfectly.
You used 4 different alternatives just now.
And none of them were, I don't know.
This is so powerful. The conversation never stopped. It just kept going.
That's the magic of these phrases. They keep conversations alive. Okay, I want to talk about something important now.
What is that?
Why do these phrases make us sound more confident in English?
Good question. I think because they show we're trying.
Yes, and confidence is not about knowing everything. Confidence is about staying calm and engaged even when you don't know the answer.
Oh, that's a beautiful way to put it.
When you say, I don't know, and stop, your body language closes down.
You look uncomfortable, maybe embarrassed.
But when you say, that's a tricky one, give me a second, your body stays open.
You look thoughtful, not lost.
And the other person sees someone who's engaged and interested.
Not someone who gave up.
Exactly. And in job interviews, this is very important.
Oh yes, job interviews.
When someone asks you a difficult question in an interview and you say, I don't know, it sounds weak.
But if you say, that's a great question. I haven't dealt with that specific situation before, but I would approach it by...
Yes, now you sound thoughtful, confident, professional.
The same situation, but completely different impression.
Completely different, and in social situations too.
How so?
When you keep the conversation going with these phrases, people enjoy talking to you more.
Because nobody likes a conversation that just stops dead.
Exactly. These phrases are not just English phrases, they're conversation skills.
Life skills, really.
Okay, everyone, let us do a quick recap of all 8 alternatives.
Yes, let us go through them one by one.
Alternative 1. That is a good question. Let me think about that.
Alternative 2. I'm not sure, but I think maybe.
Alternative 3. That is a tricky one. Give me a second.
Alternative 4. Honestly, I have no idea, but let me guess.
Alternative 5. I'm not sure. That's actually a really interesting question. I would love to find out.
Alternative 6. I've never really thought about that before, but maybe.
Alternative 7. I'm not totally sure about that. What do you think?
Alternative 8. That's not something I know much about, but I'd be interested to learn more.
8 beautiful alternatives. All natural, all confident, all better than I don't know.
So how do we practice these in real life?
Great question. First, choose your favorite 2 or 3 from the list.
Do not try to remember all 8 at once.
Yes, start with 2 or 3, the ones that feel most natural to you.
Then use them today in any conversation, in English, or even in your own language first.
Yes, get comfortable with the feeling of not stopping at I don't know.
And practice them when you talk to yourself too.
Yes, ask yourself questions and answer with these phrases.
For example, what is my favorite place in the world? I'm not sure, but I think maybe the beach near my hometown.
Perfect. See? You just practiced alone. No partner needed.
And it felt easy and natural.
And one more tip. Write your two favorite alternatives on a piece of paper.
Why on paper?
Because when you write something, your brain remembers it better.
So I write them, I see them every day, and they become automatic.
Exactly. Until one day, you say them without even thinking.
And that's fluency, using the right phrases automatically.
That's exactly what fluency feels like. Okay, everyone, we are coming to the end of today's episode. And I want to leave you with one important thought.
Yes, tell us, Emma.
Not knowing something is never a problem. Nobody knows everything, not even the most fluent English speakers in the world.
Yes, not knowing is human, it's normal.
But how you respond when you don't know something, that's what makes a difference.
So, it's not about the knowledge, it's about the response.
Exactly. A confident response says, I'm still here, I'm still engaged, I'm still trying.
And in English especially, that confidence opens so many doors.
So from today, every time you feel like saying, I don't know, pause for 1 second.
And choose one of our 8 alternatives instead.
Just 1 second, one small change, one better phrase.
And over time, those small changes become big confidence.
Yes, big, beautiful confidence in English.
And Emma, what's your personal favorite alternative from today?
Ooh, good question. Let me think about that.
You just used alternative 1 right now.
I did, completely naturally. See? It works.
It really does work. I love it.
My personal favorite is, I've never really thought about that before, but maybe. Because it's honest and it gives me space to think out loud.
I love that one too. And my favorite is, honestly, I have no idea, but let me guess. Because it makes the conversation feel fun and relaxed.
Yes, that one is very Ethan.
Yes, it is.
Okay, everyone, we have a question for you in the comments today. What is your favorite alternative from our list of 8?
Write it in the comments below and use it in a sentence if you can.
We love reading every single comment. You inspire us every day.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. You're not just learning English, you're becoming a better communicator.
And that's something to be very proud of. We'll see you in the next episode of Learn English Naturally. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone. Keep practicing, keep growing, and stop saying, I don't know.